Regardless.
Remember, you bring it. Yeah, bring both books every day. Why could anyone believe anything at all? The main idea is that truth is absolute, exclusive, and knowable. To deny it, you must affirm its existence. And then here are the terms you need to know, especially apologetics. You need to know that. Agnosticism, skepticism, the law of non-contradiction, the law of the excluded middle, logic, deduction, and induction. Now, apologetics and logic are not in the glossary, so you're going to need if you look at the glossary, you'll get the other ones. I get the definitions for the other ones, but those two, apologetics and logic, are not in there, so you'll have to look elsewhere for that. So this book is a logical argument. So the first point, a logical argument is if this is true, if this is true, if this is true, then this must be true, and it's a much longer argument than that. But that's what they're doing. They have this long logical argument that at the end we'll know we will have proven a bunch of things. So the first point is truth about reality is knowable. If we can't know something is true for sure, we're done. We obviously there can't be such a thing as truth if we can't know what is true. So truth about reality is knowable. And then the next one is the opposite of true is false. That's this chapter. I know that seems weird, but there are people who would say that's not true. So we have to state that. So we're going to start by discussing the emboldened questions 2 through 5, and then we'll do equip 1, and then I'll give you some time, and this won't be due until Monday, so you'll have the weekend as well, to read pages 55 to 59, and then I'll show you at the top of the page where you stop, and then you'll answer equip questions 2 and 3 and engage 1. And I gave you that study guide, and I'll let you know early next week when that quiz will be. So let's start with on page. No, we're fine with that. Okay. So Emboldened 2 says this. Give some reasons why you believe what you believe. Why do you believe what you believe? Yes, Jason.
Well, I'm kind of go to all like the 4 categories of like why people believe. But like my first one would be because I know that the Bible is recorded to be true. And then also because what started it was because my family believed it, and I took that on my own faith. And then just like religious, and it helps like knowing that there's God, knowing that there's someone, even though someone out there who cares, even though I might not feel it in my life. And then which
Yeah, and I think we all grow up believing what our parents tell us is true, and that's true of little Muslim children and Christian children and Jewish children and atheistic children. We tend to believe what our parents tell us, and I'm not going to denigrate that. I'm not going to say don't believe your parents, but how do they know that that's true? And so we often we believe things based on something other than logic and evidence and those kinds of things that are undeniable. As we walk through this book, it's almost like it says evidence that I told you about the book, Evidence That Demands a Verdict. Think about us being in this classroom this year in a courtroom. And people don't get convicted or excused for a crime because someone told them they should, or they their parents taught them something. They in a courtroom they use evidence and logic, and that's what we're going to use this year to determine what is right and what is wrong. I don't mean in a moral sense. I mean what is true and what is false. But all of us start out believing whatever our parents said. We all believe in Santa Claus, probably. And so, we finally realized that wasn't true. When Josh was little, I know exactly where we were. We were right by the McDonald's on Cornhusker. And I said something completely innocuous that we weren't even talking about Christmas. And I can't remember exactly what I said, but whatever I said, he said, "So Santa isn't real?" And I wasn't even talking about Santa. I said, "How did you get that?" And he said, "Mom, there were just too many. I'm a detective. There were too many clues." He really believed he believed he was Batman. He really still believes but he thought he was a detective at one point, and so he went where the clues went, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go where the clues go. Any teaching is worth trusting only if it points to the truth. And many popular beliefs are not supported by the truth or by logic. To believe that, Jesus works for you, that's fine, and so that's true for you. But I don't believe in any God, and that's true for me. There's no such thing in terms of truth. It can be true, like chocolate is the best for you and vanilla is the best. That can be true, but in truth claims, either true or they're false. There's no in between. So something can't be true for you, but not true for me. If it is true, it's true, or it's false. And so you can't say that's true for you, but it's not true for me with truth claims. It's either true or it's false. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. Sorry about this. I missed something. That dialogue with Dr. Sire with the students. What were some points that came out of that? What did you take out from that? Yes. Yes, sociological. What was the other one you mentioned? Psychological aren't the best grounds for believing something, but we all do, especially when we're young. And at some point, we need to realize, okay, is this true based on the evidence? Is there evidence for this? And then out of the 4 reasons of belief, sociological, psychological, religious, and philosophical, which reason do you tend to use as evidence for Christianity? So I'll tell you my answer for that. Philosophical now. But as a child, it was sociological. My parents were Christians. We went to church every Sunday. I believed because my parents told me so. And my parents, I believe my parents were right, but I realize that now, philosophically, not in terms of sociology. What would you say?
Also, a big part of why I believe is because of just like the acts and the goodness of God that I've seen move through my own life and other people's life. Definitely a big reason. But it like solidifies the faith.
Yeah, and that's part of the evidence that we have. What were you
I feel logical, like labeling it.
Yeah, well, it is, but you can feel fulfilled with a lot of different things that may or may not be true. Yes.
Or also psychological.
Yeah, and my hope is that as we walk through this year, you'll get more and more evidence to support what you believe. Kendra, were you going to say something? They kind of dovetail one another, right? They kind of support one another. Yes, good. And then, what is the role of an apologist? We're not talking about I'm sorry, someone who says I'm sorry. What is the role of an apologist? Yes.
I wrote that expose inadequate justifications and ways
That's good. That's really good. What I wrote down was someone who shows how good reason and evidence supports or contradicts a particular belief. We're talking about Christian apologetics, but this can be done with anything somebody believes, right? It can be even done with politics, right? So an apologist is one who shows how good reason and evidence support or contradict a particular belief. And now we're going to also do equip one. So what three things did Dr. Sires' Socratic approach reveal to the students? There were three things that were revealed to the students. Yes, any teaching is interesting only if it points to the truth. If I teach you something that is untrue, you shouldn't believe that, right? Just because your Bible teacher said it. It's only worth trusting if it points to the truth. What else? Yes, Ken. What did you say? Yes, truth is not subjective. It is objective, right? There's a lot of popular beliefs that people hold that aren't supported by the truth. Um, so, um, uh, yeah, we uh, uh, we need to believe what we believe based on truth. And then what's the last one? Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of people that believe things and believe them tenaciously, but that doesn't make them true. I also have in here that in order to find the truth, we must give up those unsupportable beliefs, those things that are not logical, that pattern of thinking. I'm sorry, silence my phone. That's one of my sisters. Yeah, I want to go silence. It's only supportable if it is, only true if it supports something that is true. It's based on logic, it's based on fact. Okay, so We did that, good. So here's what you, and you might be able to get this done before the hour. If not, it's homework. So I want you to read pages 55 to 59 to the top of the chapter, or of the page, please. So at 55, 59, excuse me, you stop where it says Kant's agnosticism, should we be agnostic about it? He was another very, like, ancient is probably too strong a word, philosopher. So stop at Kant. He also was on that list. And then do equip 2 through 3 and engage 1. I'll put that on the board. And that's due for Monday.